One of the most infamous bosses in Genshin Impact is Maguu Kenki. As befitting of such a boss, it has quite a few attack patterns. Before I continue, please note that this video only details the attack patterns of the overworld Maguu Kenki, and doesn't include the other variants that have appeared in the game before. Maguu Kenki initially has 5 different attack patterns, with the first being the Pushing Mask. This attack deals anemo damage and can swirl off of other elements on the player. This can be iframed through dashes and elemental bursts, but I recommend just dodging to the side to avoid it since the hitbox is relatively small. Maguu Kenki also has an Exploding Mask attack, where 2 halves of a mask will rotate in the air and then collapse on your position, dealing cryo damage. This is a pretty large AoE, but it can be iframed with dashes and elemental bursts. The timing to dodge this attack is when the mask completely turns white, because that's when the mask will collapse inward. Using this timing to dodge is pretty effective. The third attack pattern this boss utilizes is a Whirling Slash. It's characterized by Maguu Kenki sheathing its sword, charging for a couple seconds in a static position, and then releasing a slash around it, dealing physical damage. Maguu Kenki's sword during the charging phase has a white light on it, which disappears before the slash is released. You can dash just as this light disappears in order to iframe it with a dash, and if you're not comfortable with dash iframing, you can either iframe with an elemental burst or get out of the range of the attack. Maguu Kenki is also able to rush at you with a slash. It will sheath its sword quickly, and then subsequently body you with physical damage. Just before this attack goes off, you'll see a white flash appear from Maguu Kenki's sheath. Dashing once you see this light will allow you to iframe this attack unscathed. The slash combo that Maguu can release is fairly simple to dodge as the hitbox is fairly small and the tracking is fairly weak. If you move a significant distance from your initial position, Maguu is unable to attack you due to its weak tracking. Dodging is fairly simple because of this. Lowering this boss's HP to 70% will cause several new attack patterns to appear, as well as upgrade initial attack patterns. Maguu will enter an iframe period for about 8 seconds as he unsheathes the new sword, unleashing his Stormburst attack. This attack will deal both anemo and cryo damage if hit, one-shotting most characters. This attack can be iframed with any method, but if you don't have expensive experience with utilizing dash iframes, I recommend using elemental bursts to iframe. Dodging is fairly difficult because of the AoE this attack covers, and it can also be unleashed at any point during the battle after Maguu's HP is lowered to 70%, so be careful. The 7th attack that appears is a ranged anemo slash combo. An anemo phantom will spawn after Maguu blinks away from its initial position, firing off 1 slash before the main body fires 3 to 4 slashes. I don't recommend dash iframing this attack due to the hitboxes being hard to follow and it having multiple hitboxes. Dodging this can also be difficult, especially at close range, so iframing with an elemental burst is recommended to avoid all damage. Maguu Kenki can also spawn a Cryo Phantom after dashing away. Both will start charging a variant of the Whirling Slash attack from earlier and second nearby players. The main body will unleash an Anemo Slash and the Cryo Phantom a Cryo Slash. The slashes can occur with a slight delay between them, so dashing might not be sufficient to avoid both. However, you can be out of the range of one if you position yourself properly. Both Pushing Mask and Exploding Mask attack patterns remain the same. However, the other initial attack patterns receive upgrades. The Whirling Slash becomes a 2-part attack, with the main body releasing an Anemo attack and the Phantom releasing a Cryo attack. The first part only affects a small radius around the boss, with the second part hitting a wide AoE, except in the area the first part affected. Even if you aren't able to dodge the first attack, you won't be hit by the second unless you get staggered into the hitbox. Because of this, the recommended avoidance method is to iframe with dashes or elemental bursts, since dodging will result in getting hit by the second slash. The Rushing Slash now deals anemo damage and becomes a 2-part attack, with the initial rush being the same, but Maguu then releases a ranged anemo attack right after doing so. Slash combo also upgrades, with the boss doing a total of 6 consecutive attacks now. The main body does 3 attacks with similar tracking as before, but now an Anemo Phantom attacks in between the main body's slashes. Here are some notes on Maguu. Ranged attacks will be blocked if the boss isn't currently attacking. Before Maguu does any ranged slash attack, their sheath will spark. This can be used to time your dodges and iframes to great effect. Using a character that inflicts you with an element like Bennett is very risky here due to Maguu's attacks having constant elemental infliction with both anemo and cryo damage. In combat, you'd rather get hit by the anemo attacks than the cryo ones, since Maguu could potentially swirl off that cryo infliction later on. If you are far away from Maguu Kenki, he's able to do a small blink towards your general direction. This doesn't spawn a phantom or trigger any attacks directly, but once the boss is in melee range, an attack will occur. Maguu's attacks are very telegraphed, with most giving several seconds to react. This boss is probably one of the best for intermediate players to practice iframing with. I hope that this guide was useful to all of you and that it helped you fight this boss. If you have any questions, please put a comment down in the comment section. Thanks for watching.